with a modest output of 54 megawatts. The quest for food security is a fundamental concern for governments worldwide, and the Lagos State government has been actively engaged in a series of strategic efforts to address this critical challenge within its jurisdiction. With a rapidly growing population, ensuring access to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food for all residents has become a top priority for the Lagos State government. Now, by implementing a range of initiatives and policies aimed at boosting food security, the government is not only addressing immediate hunger concerns, but also laying the groundwork for sustainable development, economic growth, and social well-being. Well, I'm being joined by the Commissioner of Agriculture, Lagos State, Mr. Abisola Olusonya. Thank you so much. It's good to have you in the studio.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes, I know a lot of work has been going on, and we're happy to have you in the studio. Can we start with doing an overview of what Lagos is doing at this time to address all of this? We know what's happening with food inflation,
Yes.
price of food.
Yes.
What specifically are you doing that you want us to know about at this time?
Okay, so Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, the governor of Lagos, he had announced about a month ago during his Sanwo-Olu Speaks engagement with the public on several measures and initiatives that he was going to implement towards bringing some level of comfort to Lagosians in these tough economic times. You have multi-sectoral initiatives. I mean, with the transportation, 25% rebate or discount on public transport through the BRT, the ferry services, the train services. Also, when it comes to food, he had mentioned three specific initiatives. So under the Ounje umbrella, which is where we would have the 25% discount on food items, specific food items of specific sizes across the 57 local governments. We also have the food staple distribution. On that, we have commenced the aggregation of the food and the repackaging of the food, and subsequently within the next few weeks we should start to roll out the distribution of that food. And then you now have the free meal initiative as well, which a lot of people term Mama Put, which will still be rolled out. So for those three food initiatives, the idea is to, as much as possible, reach many people. So for the discount markets, for instance, it means someone can still have some money to even buy food, and at that point the person can enjoy the discount. For the palliatives, which is a staple food distribution, that would mean someone who doesn't even have money to buy food at all but requires some additional support from the government. And then the free meal is generally for, okay, I might be employed but underemployed, and as such, I just need a free meal to be able to boost whatever income that I'm making. So across the three tiers, we should be able to cover as many people as possible. But for the immediate, what we are doing right now is the implementation of the 25% discount markets, which we hold on Sundays. But today being a Good Friday, and considering the fact that we have a lot of members of staff who are Christians who would also like to spend some time with their family, children are on holidays, we decided to hold this week's edition today instead. And so it's going on across the 57 local government and LCDs in Lagos.
That's brilliant. Before I go to speaking more around the initiatives, I want to ask you, how do you monitor and evaluate schemes and initiatives like this? Because that's always been the challenge. And many will say there could be manipulation and people could take advantage of it.
So when it comes to distribution of free food, yes, you can talk about maybe there might be a bit of manipulation. There might even be some level of bias. But the beauty of the discount market is you're coming to buy. There's a specific location that has been mentioned across the 57 local governments and LCDs, and it's a function of the availability of the food. For the staff of the Lagos State government that are part of this initiative and are in the implementation team, there's a very sound and clear directive around making sure that the people are served. So you have mystery shoppers who also come around to investigate or to check, and give feedback and reports and such. So everyone also is on their toes. And I mean, we have a lot of support from the security personnel services, if you're talking about the police and the neighborhood safety corps. So with this and everyone just trying to make sure that the people as much as possible receive the 25% rebate, I want to believe that the situation has been one of the best in terms of ensuring that there is no bias within it, and also there is no deployment of the food that should be served to the people, served to someone else. Now, not that we have not received or seen people coming to buy and trying to buy more than they should. I mean, you have a whole family come, the father buys, the mother buys, the daughter buys, the son buys. You can't stop that from happening, but that's where we appeal to the consciences of our citizenry to please, as much as possible, not engage in such acts, because when they do that, they deny other people of the privilege to be able to buy and enjoy the 25% discount. So we can only appeal. Also, I know we try as much as possible maybe to put some kind of ink on the thumb.
Oh, good.
But because we changed the strategy around the sales point as well, where people can move from queue to from product to product, that might be a bit difficult and tricky as well. So we just appeal to people's consciences that this is a scheme or an initiative that is devoid of bias. Therefore, they should allow others enjoy what they are enjoying.
Beautiful stuff.
Yes.
Now, I would also ask you this question. Recently, we saw that handshake between Lagos and Niger State.
Yes.
Very interesting stuff for me. But I want you to tell us more about this and what really you intend to achieve with it.
Yes. So you're talking about the marriage of two critical states,
yes,
to the economy of Nigeria. One is the commercial nerve center. 60% of commerce happens.
Yes.
And also the smallest in terms of land size, and you're talking about the largest state in Nigeria, 21 times the size of the other, 80% arable land, and where you have 80% of the population engaged in agriculture, in production. So it only makes sense that the two get into some good relationship around ensuring food security. Lagos is very small. Niger is very big. One is agric dominant. The other is market dominant. So it only makes sense to marry production with market, and in a way create a seamless situation around ensuring that on both ends, one makes money off of food production and one gets adequate food required to meet its people's needs. So that is the essence of having the two come together, and as such we believe that with other states as well that we have also engaged, we'll be seeing a lot more of these partnerships come to light.
So you believe this assures of availability, price stability on both sides?
Yes, on both sides it will, because at the end of the day, how do you ensure price stability? How do you stem price inflation? When people are assured of offtake, when people are also assured of a standardized pricing, it allows for proper planning for the future. In as much as you don't have food available in all seasons, so let's say a particular type of food, let me even just use fruit for instance now. Mango is in season right now. Mango is not available all year round. But knowing fully well on the production end that I have an off-taker who is ready to pay in advance, it gives impetus to the producers to also get the right type of seedlings on time. They plant on time. They know the kind of yield that will require the kind of investments they have also made. And as such, when there's that kind of proper planning, there's also a scheduling around how these products are off-taken, and as such you see that yes, even at the production end there's now a systemic arrangement around production. On the market side, which is where Lagos stands, there's also a clear pathway around how you want these food items to come in, the prices at which they should be pegged, and if there's an abundance, you also have the tools and you have the mechanisms and equipment to preserve these food items for longer, such that you can maintain a standard pricing across a clear period of time. So it helps with price stability.
Oh, brilliant. There's a lot of international support also for Lagos, FAO, and just recently, I think Netherlands, again, there's a handshake between Nigeria and Netherlands.
Yes.
What more can we learn from this?
So for the handshakes between foreign partners as well as multilateral, bilateral agencies, I believe that Lagos has shown with no doubt in mind its intentions around running ahead with its food systems initiative. So let me give a clear indication. So we've been talking about SAPZ for so long with AFDB. Okay. AFDB chose quite a couple of states. We pushed and pushed and pushed. Lagos, you must give us a special categorization because we are peculiar, but when that is not forthcoming, what do you do at Lagos? You don't sit back because you understand that you are actually very critical to the economy of Nigeria, which is why we went ahead and Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu said, you know what, I'm moving ahead with mine, and that's why we started building the Food Logistics Park, the largest in Africa for now. It's now, before it was supposed to be on 120 hectares of land, now 200 hectares of land, and poised to grow even further. So the idea around this, and when other multilateral and bilateral agencies see this, they see truly that the intent of Lagos to have its people food secure is genuine. And as such, the partnerships are more or less expected. So what we see with the Netherlands, what we see with the French and so many other partners is that, yes, we can indeed do this together, and we are seeing a lot of support coming from them.
Also doing something around red meat.
Yes.
Yes, please, I really want to talk about the butchers.
Butchers Academy.
Yeah.
Actually, in the next few weeks, we'll be launching the Eco Meat Shop. So it's a kind of prototype where we feel that the way we sell our red meat in our markets, it's not hygienic, it's not what you want and how you want it to be. We'll be launching that. We have the logistics vehicles as well to move red meat about. We would also be looking at, the launch of the Butchers Academy. And the reason for this is, so the butchers, and we call them alakpatas in Yoruba, when you see the age range of the average butcher now is also elderly, and as such, you're not seeing the younger generation come into this artisanal occupation. How do you encourage them to come in? It is to display a better way of selling, a better way of handling, and also the utilization of technology and modern equipment. So the Butchers Academy is essentially to teach them the use of mechanized slaughter lines or mechanized equipment, and as such also help them to understand that they can have better interfaces with the consumers, but in a very nice and modern kind of storefront. So we'll be launching the Butchers Academy alongside the prototype Eco Meat shops that we would like to have all over the state. Yes.
That's really a good one. But let me ask you this question. The Commodities Exchange,
yes,
how can it help us for food security?
So a Commodities Exchange essentially is about price stabilization, and it's either you buy a forward or a futures, and that is essentially you hedging your risks. So it's more or less around planning again and knowing fully well that if I pay for this at this time, even when I don't need it, I have already pegged the price, and as such, the pricing at which I will sell that product eventually, I can be assured of certain margins, but overall for the people, the price is stabilized. Part of what the Lagos Food Logistics Park will be doing is to also have a commodities exchange around which, when we get items into this logistics park, you have wholesale buyers, you have bulk buyers who can do a forward or who can hedge, and as such there's a sort of how would I put it now, auction. So it's an auctioneering process where the market would eventually determine the right price for that product. And as such, for you to even want to buy tomato going forward, I don't know where you get your food items from, but because you know that there's a marker, there's a fixed price bulk that is also nationwide, I mean, you are aware of it. It means when you go to wherever you buy your items from, you can tell that, okay, this is way beyond what it should be. Yes, any retailer should have a specific margin, but it shouldn't go beyond a certain point. That is what a commodity exchange will do for you. And as such, you should be able to, peg your prices every point in time. And, you don't have all this hyperinflation that has been happening for quite some time.
Almost finally, what are your projections? What are you looking at? Like, how many many households do you intend to feed, or what do we expect from the state government in addressing this shortfall? Of course, subsidy removal and all of it.
Yes. So, I say, so food availability is not the issue right now. It's more of food affordability. So it's a pricing thing, and pricing because you don't have the right market organization for it. So you have middlemen doing a lot of arbitrage and putting so much in terms of margins on the food items. What we are doing as Lagos State government under Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu is that for the stable food distribution, the idea is at least in this instance to touch about 335,000 families. For the discount markets, the idea is that at least every Sunday we reach a minimum of 114,000 families across the different food items that we are selling. And then for the free meal initiative is to at least do 1 million free meals, across a certain time frame of within 3 weeks to 4 weeks. So overall, you'll be talking about, add 335,000 to 114,000 per week. And we've done that now for 3 weeks. And this is aside what we do at Alausa, that is for the civil servants, which we held even just yesterday. And what we do at Mushin Dioro, that's the agro-food hub, where we run the market twice a week. And we get nothing less than about 15,000 people coming in on those days to buy food. So in total, with the 1 million free meals, which if we assume that one person should at least have the free meal twice, you're talking about 500,000 people. So you're talking about well over 1.2 million people should be touched. And when I say 1.2 million people, I mean point of contact to their respective families. So when you multiply that 1.2 million times about 4 people per family or 5, then you should be looking at roughly about 6 million people touched.
We'll follow up with this, and we hope to have you in to do an assessment of this. I asked monitoring and evaluation. It's key. It is really key.
It is.
Sometimes government has deliberate good efforts, good intentions, but it's frustrated.
Well, that's why we have the SPEDAC. That is a Special Palliative Dispensatory Advisory Council. They keep us on our toes, trust me. And even as I speak to you now that the Ounje is ongoing, I have some members that are already in some markets to also give their feedback, and we take it to heart to quickly address problems that are raised, and also the feedback from the public. Aside that, like I mentioned, we have mystery shoppers. So even for the staple foods distribution that will be happening, we are going to have a lot of people alongside those who will be doing the distribution to ensure that people do not circumvent the system and take advantage. And we've also said anyone found wanting, there's going to be, I think we were even advised to set up a mobile court so that people are, immediately they get to feel the consequences of their actions to deter others from doing that. So we hope that, with what we are trying to do to ensure that there's transparency and that everyone is touched, I want to believe that a lot of people are on board and they want to see this happen, because everyone just has to feel the impact of all of these initiatives to douse any tensions that we may have.
I must thank you so much, Commissioner of Agriculture, Lagos State, Ms. Abisola Olusoya. Thank you, and enjoy your Easter celebration.
Thank you very much.
We hope to have you in soon again to assess all of this.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Coming up on our show, we'll shift our focus to the furniture industry